So yesterday I got an email from Morrison's in Elland. It was Jubilee Way, so I was like, well, that's... It said Morrison's Halifax, but I was like, but I applied to the one in Elland. And it said for Jubilee Way. I was like, well, that's Morrison's in Elland. It said you've been shortlisted for the interview stage for 4 o'clock at Morrison's. I was like, sweet. And you know when you work and you just completely lose track of dates? That's exactly what happened. I immediately said, well, I need to ring work and say like I'm ready to cancel next Saturday. But I forgot it was this Saturday. I'm going to walk on the bridge, the viaduct. Because it is a Friday morning and we are going to have that commute. Not that we're really having it at the moment because we've only seen 2 cars. Well, I have anyway. So actually it's tomorrow. So my mum was like, do you not have like your smart grey shirt anymore? And I was like, I think I got rid of it because it was just tatty and all. So I've got my white shirt, I've got a black trousers, black shoes, and I'm going to go to Morrison's in that attire. Yeah, so it's tomorrow. I'm a little bit nervous actually, because like it's been a very long time since I've had an interview, and with it being, I think, closer to home than it is Salt Hevel, then you kind of, well, I was saying this to myself yesterday. When I'm walking to work, there's a couple of ways I can divert the walk, so that it actually means like, oh, you're walking that place to the other place. But with like going to Elland, there's quite a few ways you can like divert it if you want to like change the walk up for like going to here to Morrison's. Yes, it's going to be strange. So I don't know if it's a group stage, like there's a group of people, or if it's just going to be me. And I'm going to be honest with myself, really. When it came to the actual thought of interview questions, I was kind of like, oh God, I don't know. See, I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I just don't. Oh my God, there's so many stars in the sky right now. I don't think it picks up on camera too well. Oh fuck. Oh, that shit me up then. Oh shit. I just heard heavy panting. I was just like, what the fuck is that? It was a guy walking a dog. That shit me up, man. That really shit me up. Oh no, it's okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna rain or not. But I'm thinking if I'm in like the business attire like I will be, to catch a trip, well, no, I'll probably get a taxi to Morrison's. I know it's not very far, but you don't. The best way I can sum it up is if you arrive there sweaty and all, then that doesn't look very well. So you can turn up clean and smart and everything, but then come home, doesn't really matter then, does it? Yeah, it's going to be nice actually. So the interview's at 4 o'clock. I don't know how long it's going to take either. I think it's going to take roughly about an hour. And then there's typically the questions of like, tell me about yourself. And when you think straight on the spot like that, like before you just kind of like, oh god. I mean, it's honest. I love travelling, love music, love going places, and I love being creative. Content creator on the internet, and just having that carpe diem moment, seize the moment. And they were like, oh, my mum was like, they're gonna ask potentially like, have you done anything creative at work? And it made me think. I was just like, have I? And then I'm like, well, yeah, because like there's times when families have come in and I've resolved their situation because they've looked stressed, I've helped them out, and then I've seen that the kids have been a bit like finicky. So I'm like, well, I've given them balloons, I've given them flags, I've given them activity packs, I've given them crayons, and I've given them all these different things to like distract them from being in a negative mind and more into a more positive mind. And then the parents are like, oh, cheers. The parents are like, oh yeah, cheers, yeah. And it solves a negative situation and makes it positive in that way. Then the kids are not crying, the kids are more like, yeah, cool, yeah, like in a positive mood. I don't know what that was then. And even the same thing, I've helped people, I've given stuff to people, like, because I was kind of like, have I been creative at work? Yeah, of course I have, with balloons, definitely. Oh, definitely the balloon boy, that's my nickname, because I hand so many out. That's definitely a creative thing. That tends to be my niche thing. And I like to know what promos are happening when they're finishing, when they're starting, what's happening next, because then I can talk about it on the internet and promote it. I don't always do it all the time, but I do most of the time, keep on top of it. Just be yourself. That famous track by Audioslave. Be yourself. That's all you can do. And it's rightly so. You don't want to portray somebody you're not. It's like living somebody else's life. You want to live yours. And especially like, the bit about travelling. I love travelling, obviously. It came from my granddad's passion of train travel journeys, and then I grew up upon that, and then my uncle went travelling over Europe, and then I was just like, well, I know there's stuff across Europe, but like there's so much to England, Scotland, Wales that I've never seen before, that I'd physically love to see first, then go abroad. I'd physically love to do that, and it's just honestly, I'm more to the point, working for Morrison's. The fact I've got shortlisted actually is a good thing. I'm actually working for Morrison's. You'd have a set shift every week. It won't be like, oh, you need to wait till Thursday to work to find out in 2-3 days. Pardon me. Fine. I think for a well-established business. Oh, that was the other thing. They might be like, well, what do you know about Morrison's? And I'm like, well, it was founded in Bradford, where I actually used to work for a year. Hence, Marks and Spencer's. Founded in 1899. And that's why I want to work in a supermarket. Because I honestly think if I had not been released from Marks and Spencer's in Bradford because of financial cuts, I think I might potentially still be at Marks and Spencer's. But that's the thing. I'd probably. It's kind of strange because, like, if that had happened, like if I'd have always stayed at Marks and Spencer's, would the year that I've had happened or not? It's like a what if, or would it have happened still? I think that's just the addiction of travelling. You get the point. So in my bag, I've got, and that's the thing, I'm confident as well. If somebody needs my help, I'll do it. And like, I'm always reliable on time and everything. And if for some what reason I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna be late, I'm not just gonna not say anything. I'll ring work and be like, well, you know what, I might actually be late today. It might only be for 5-10 minutes or whatever. But they're like, oh, okay, Jamie, yeah. When I said yesterday about somebody that just doesn't turn up on time, ever, I said Manchester United are more likely to win the Premier League than that person is to come in on time. Which annoyed a few people because there was a few Man United supporters around. I think what as well would be nice is if there's any Burnley supporters at Morrison's, because there's only me and another guy. So if it's just the me situation, it's just me. But if there's someone else that supports Burnley, kudos. I was like, what's that? Oh, it's the wind. I was like, is that the wind of a car? And one last thing before I go onto the road down here is, even though my interview's at 4 o'clock, and initially if I'm going to get a taxi for probably 3:40, I'll probably do 3:35, is to do something in the morning, but then get back for like dinner time. Potentially that's a shout. Because then I've got a couple of hours of doing stuff at home, and then I set off. Potentially. I'll discuss it with family tonight. Say, look, I'll want to do something tomorrow morning. Come back in the afternoon, and then do that. One thing for sure is, if you did get accepted, that the idea of like, oh, would you start immediately? I'm on the main road now. They were like, oh, could you start immediately? And I went, well, no, because like my work has a 2-week like transition. So like, you can't, if you're saying you're going to leave, you're still going to have 2 weeks of where you're working, and then you leave. But that's how it is. See how tomorrow goes. Tomorrow might not be successful. It might be. You just can't tell. Anyway, thanks for watching for now. And goodbye.